Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Jason Salzman.
And I'm Neely Soodle.
And you're watching your #1 source for Native American television news.
Native News Today.
That's exactly right. And we have a great program lined up today, Neely. Lots of things happening. In Muscogee, a lot of you are probably just getting home. The State of the Nation address given by Principal Chief George Tiger, the Muscogee Creek Nation. So a lot of good things probably outlined there. And we'll have a recap of that next week.
Yeah, that's right. And he kind of just addressed his initiatives of what he expects for 2015 and kind of recaps what happened in 2014. And as you mentioned, we will have more on that. Yeah,
a lot of good things to mention, a lot of things, businesses sprouting up, Creek Nation, forging relationships. So a lot of good news there, lots of things to look forward to in 2015. Also this week we have a great treat coming up. We'll have an in-studio guest that you'll be talking to. Also, I had a chance to go in Tulsa at a very historical thing. A map was presented to the city of Tulsa depicting original allotments that really made up the beginning of Tulsa.
That's right, and the city of Tulsa has embraced it and showcasing it there.
Definitely. It'll be up in City Hall, and they had a big, nice event, very well attended there at the Historical Society. Have you ever been to the Historical Society?
No, I haven't.
You should check it out. It's very nice, and it's a great place, a lot of history. So we'll have all that. Come back after this break. Neely will be in studio with Brian Jackson.
Momesh Harishongigo Imongin Hobidagi Ani Omaga Bomahahoye Imongin Oma Bonchomegigosh. For more information about Muscogee language preservation, please call us at 918-732-7724.
I'm Principal Chief George Tiger of the Muscogee Creek Nation with my good friend Anthony Phillips. As a consensus All-American, an academic All-American, and a national champion at the University of Oklahoma, Anthony knows the importance of balancing the athletic and academic arenas.
That's right, Chief. Statistics show that student athletes are more goal-oriented and are higher achievers in school. Success requires a balanced approach and plenty of support.
The Muscogee Creek Nation supports our student athletes.
Jahojefkat Paul Fixakodos. Ikanagat Tekobachi, Mikusapkajokonman, Amikusapkajokodos. I'm able to preach in English and Muscogee, our language too, so there's not many that does that today. When I was growing up, that's all we had, Muscogee language, and that's all they preach. I could talk my language when I was small. When I grew up, I could understand what they were saying. We don't want to lose that, language, especially our songs, our native songs and the Muscogee hymns. We want to keep them.
The Muscogee language has always been a part of my life, and so I grew up speaking the language, and I've used it throughout my life. I found that people were interested in learning the language and wanting to revitalize it. The language immersion method of teaching is one that I'm comfortable with. It's a way of reconnecting with our histories and our cultures and to give this gift or pass this gift on to our children. Mado, Hadam Chihijahlis.
And welcome back to Native News Today. I'm Neely Soodle, and we are joined this day with Brian Jackson, and we are here to talk about something that is motivational, to say the least, and it's called the I Believe program, and that's you.
I am the I Believe guy. The kids couldn't remember my name, but I did the I Believe program, and they started saying, "You're that I Believe guy," and it just stuck. And so I prefer that they call me the I Believe guy anyway.
So I Believe, tell me a little bit about this program. I mean, it's kind of mixed with a little bit of motivation, a little bit of, I guess you would call it exercising, and your...
It's a little different. I put it together back in 1992. We've been going since 1992. And basically people would ask me to share my experiences. When I was younger, I was involved with drugs and alcohol and I got into a lot of trouble. But then I got a second chance. And what I did with my second chance is I wanted to basically change what people remembered me by, my legacy. And I started trying to attempt to break world records. And now I hold 12 Guinness World Records.
Wow. And you just got back from a trip from China, and tell me a little bit about that trip, because you went out there promoting your program, right?
I got the email on Thanksgiving morning talking about exciting morning. You know, you have enough to be thankful for anyway, but the invite came, would you like to come to Shanghai, China in January? So I was excited, I was pumped up. I had been to China in 2013 doing a world record attempt, and so it was exciting to be invited back. And as the emails went back and forth, we talked about a lot of different things, but I asked them if I could bring the Cherokee flag to present in China. And then the next question was, would you dress traditionally? So this is basically top up what I look like on stage. The record that we were doing was for the heaviest vehicle lifted with your breath. That means we put a thing underneath the car. Well, now it's an SUV. And I have to blow with enough air, with volume and pressure to lift that car off the ground. It took me 36 minutes, but when we finished, we were successful in lifting a car that weighs 4,387 pounds off the ground. And they awarded me with the medal from China.
That's awesome. And you said that they were actually parading you guys around.
This show, I was like a little kid, you know. They actually bring in girls, Chinese girls on horses, black horses and white horses. And then right after them, there's Chinese girls on horses in armor. And then they bring us in mini chariots. It looked like the Hunger Games. And, you know, some people might think that's silly, but I was excited. I mean, it was a huge opportunity. Not only to be on the show, but the things that you get to experience on the show. You know, this show is aired in China by 50 million people. And so for me to not only be on the show, but to get to represent Native Americans from the United States, I take a huge honor getting to do that. And with the clothes, I've never had my picture taken more.
So many times, huh?
They truly respect.
We're kind of viewed a little differently there, right?
Yes, Native Americans are highly respected in China. They want to know what happened, why it happened. They want to make sure it never happens to them. And so there's a lot of questions for them. Plus, with some of the things that I wore, I was sitting in front of the audience at one time, and they just want to touch the things that I have on. And it's kind of funny. I would turn around, and they would just swarm me to take pictures. So it was a huge opportunity and an honor to be on a show like that.
And you're with the Cherokee Nation, right? And
Yes.
You have the I Believe program there. You're
Yes.
the founder. And tell me, how has that made a difference there?
Well, you know, I know other people that do similar stuff that I do, but they don't have a sponsor. And so basically, because of the things that I do, I make jokes, but I've been with Cherokee Nation for 19 years. They pay me for being full of hot air. But I feel like it's a good partnership. You know, they pay me to do what I do, and I go out and speak to kids and try to motivate them, to get them to believe in themselves, to uplift them, and I think it's a good partnership. I meet so many kids that tell me I made too many mistakes in life, and I tell them you can't use that excuse. Well, they'll tell me I'm too small. Well, at 5'5", you can't use that excuse with me either. And so not only do I share my story with them, but I show them videos where I was on America's Got Talent. I'm one of only a handful of people to be on Stan Lee's Superhuman show, and the only Native American. And so I get to show the kids of all ages and groups, but a lot of Native Americans, that as Native Americans, we can really do what we strive to do if we put our, you know, set out to do it. Yeah, absolutely. You got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, and can you show us some of these things that you're talking about? Because we have, it's hard to believe. You said you don't have to be this giant and this big muscle man to be able to do these things. It's all in your mind, right?
Yeah, you have to believe in yourself. It started 22 years ago in a little church in Wewoka, Oklahoma. And we wanted to do some stuff for our kids, so there was a group of us that learned how to make balloon animals. And if you've ever tried to blow up these long, skinny balloons, it's very hard to do without a pump. And we left our pumps at home one day, and I thought, you know what, I'm never going to use a pump again. So I'm going to make something for you, just no pump. So here's this one, if I can get you to hold that for me. I got to where I could blow up 9 of these at the same time. And I saw a guy on TV and he blew up a hot water bottle. And I remember thinking, you know, I can blow up 9 of those balloons at the same time. Maybe I can break that world record for the hot water bottle. And so 7 years later, 49 record attempts, I finally broke the record for blowing up a hot water bottle. And now it's just escalated to other things. But it always goes back to me to balloon animals, because I love balloon animals. The things that you can make, the things that you can do with them. And we're just, these balloons are like the kids. If they allow us to mold them and shape them and change their direction in life, there's no telling what you can make out of these.
Oh, I see.
And those are lovebirds.
Oh, I see. How neat. That's awesome. And you, it's hard to believe that, you know, you could actually elevate a car.
I really am full of hot air.
How does that happen?
The idea came from Stan Lee's Superhuman show. They wanted me on the show to blow up a hot water bottle. And, you know, Stan Lee is the creator of Spider-Man, X-Men, and Marvel Comics. So I knew I had to step it up. And they said, Brian, is there anything you've never done that you'd like to try to do? And I said, I'd like to see if I could lift a car. And they didn't believe it. I was having a hard time believing it. But at the time, we were successful in lifting half of the car off the ground at 2,500 pounds. And so several years later, to think that I just finished lifting a whole SUV at 4,387 pounds is mind-blowing to me.
Wow. And how can anyone learn about this I Believe program if they're interested in you coming and speaking?
Everybody calls me the I Believe Guy, so that's my website and that's my email address, ibelieveguy.com and ibelieveguy@yahoo.com.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you for coming, Brian.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Yes, and you've actually motivated me, so thank you, and thank you for sharing your message.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Pumakasam gadat, ibufanga, nage, adigat, punhayadit omega, ajayididet omis.
Diosnop, that's true. Throughout the generations, our elders have taught us to preserve, share, and more importantly, protect the abundant natural resources we have here in Oklahoma. We are the original environmentalists and protector of these resources. The Muscogee Creek Nation believes tribal and state governments must work together to ensure future generations will have clean air and clean water as the ultimate legacy. What is good for Oklahoma tribal nations is good for all Oklahomans. Remember, tribes are truly the original Oklahomans.
Looking for your next 18-hole adventure? Then take a look at Fountainhead Creek Golf Club. Nestled in the beautiful confines of Lake Eufaula State Park, large sloping greens and well-placed bunkers characterize the Muscogee Creek Nation's Floyd Farley designed course and offers a fine test of skill for any golfer. Stay up on all the latest gear and equipment with a visit to our pro shop. Have lunch at the Turn at the Clubhouse Grill. We're waiting to accommodate you at Fountainhead Creek. Give us a call at 918-689-3209 or visit fountainheadgolf.com to book your next round. Fountainhead Creek Golf Club, close to home, far from ordinary.
If you can just imagine that if you've been told you can't do something, you can't do this, you're not capable, you're not qualified, you're the wrong color, and all of a sudden something happens that says that's not true. I can, and I will.
It was not a game, it was a battle. That's what this game was about. Our people have endured and thrived under abnormal circumstances, and we always have, we always will.
We were part of the early founding of the National Football League as a participating club.
A full roster of just Native Americans.
This was quite awesome for just a little town of 2,000, 3,000 people.
But the bad thing is, nobody knows.
The Hominy Indians put together a football team that could compete at the national level.
This is John Levi, then this is our dad George. 1924 was when John made All-American. His athletic abilities were excellent.
He was a an equivalent to Jim Thorpe. It's unfortunate somebody like that wasn't given the notoriety that he deserved.
You can imagine football in that day, with no pads and no face masks, nothing.
Back then, I think it was more of a impact sport.
The Indians just have that drive in them to compete because maybe they were always the underdog.
That couldn't be taught. It was just natural.
These were tough men.
Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible.
They won 26 consecutive games.
They just felt invincible.
They could do anything they put their hearts to.
The preparation, the people behind you.
These guys are giants, but we're going to conquer the giant.
Even his own family said it was just ridiculous. What are you trying to do, embarrass us?
They had a passion.
We've always been taught as a war group is that you're a team.
This was so much more than just a game. Now they had a chance to prove that not only were they capable of competing against the best team, the world champions, but worthy of being on the same field as them. Two great teams under one flag battling it out on the gridiron.
It's like a destiny, and that destiny is going to carry people's lives for generations to come.
They decided that if they started something, they would go all the way with it, and that's exactly what they did.
Here's our time, here's our chance. Let's get after it.
We believe if you teach a man to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. We believe that transitioning convicted citizens back into our communities enhances public safety. We believe that every citizen, even ex-prisoners, are important and are capable of change. We believe in reclaiming our citizens and investing them back into a culture that embraces healing and restoration.
We believe
in reintegration.
All right, welcome back to Native News Today. Great visit there, interview with Brian Jackson, and that was the first time you've ever met him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when the tapes start rolling, that's when I met him. So I learned a lot as we went along, and you know, to explain it a little bit, you know, he has how many records, world records?
I can't even count them. I think they're just like in the over 10.
I thought he said 12.
Yeah.
So 12 records, and that's his motivational speech. He goes around and shows that the power is just within you to do what you set your mind on.
That's exactly right. And
make you a believer.
It's his message. I believe, you know, and definitely he makes believers out of a lot of the kids he goes and visits. So great job there, Brian Jackson. Thanks, Brian, for being in the studio. Moving right along in our coverage, definitely told you guys in the jump about the Tallahassee map being presented to the city of Tulsa. I was so glad to be there at the Historical Society as Chief Tiger, lots of people, J.D. Colbert really spearheading the effort, and so it was a great ceremony there between two governments.
History was made at the Tulsa Historical Society last week as city and state officials, along with Muscogee Creek citizens and administration, were on hand for the gifting of a map depicting the original allotments of Creek people that made up Tallahassee, or Tulsa Town. This settlement of the Lojaboga people, a place where the Trail of Tears ended for Muscogee Creeks, is now the city of Tulsa.
You know, this is just a part of our partnership / collaboration with the Muscogee Creek Nation. We've been involved on a couple of projects, and we look to the future to be involved even more.
Creek citizen J.D. Colbert, who coordinated the efforts to make and present the map, gave a brief presentation on the history of the area to those in attendance and talked about what motivated him to lead the project.
I got interested in this project mainly as a result of discovering that not too many people knew what the word Tulsa means or where it came from. And I thought, well, that's a real shame, and clearly more needs to be done to build awareness of the history of Tulsa, particularly its early founding.
Muscogee Creek Nation Principal Chief George Tiger sees this gift as just another example of the great partnership the nation enjoys with the city of Tulsa.
We've had a great working relationship with Mayor Bartlett, probably more so than we've ever had. We know that we have resources that we can share to make it a win-win for everybody involved in the communities.
Chief also mentioned that for Creek citizens and the Tulsa community, seeing this shared history strengthens our identity together.
It tells a lot about who we are as Muscogee Creek Nation, the settlement here in Tulsa, and how Tulsa has grown from very humble beginnings after our people arrived here on the Trail of Tears.
Mayor Dewey Bartlett knows what this gift means to Tulsa, to its history and the accuracy of its origin story.
To receive the very generous gift from the Muscogee Creek Nation of such a beautiful map that has very significant historical significance. It shows who the original allottees were for a considerable amount of the area in and around our fine city, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And besides giving us that great information, it's very interesting. It certainly gives us a real serious tie to our history, to those that preceded us and started Tulsa. What was Tulsa Town, Old Town. Most of the city of Tulsa is within what is known now as the Muscogee Creek Nation.
For those wondering where they can take a look at this historic document, the mayor is getting to work right away finding an appropriate place for it in City Hall.
Well, it's a large framed document, so we want to put it someplace where it's easily accessible to the public, where they can come see it, because it is very interesting. It's very easy to determine at a specific area of town who the original owner of the land was from the nation. So I haven't determined yet, but it would be in an area that it will be easy for people to come see. Somewhere in City Hall, I know that.
For Colbert, there is a belief that we all have an individual need to know who we are and where we come from. It's why he feels ceremonies such as this are important for future generations.
It is a function of people, particularly citizens of Tulsa, Creek and non-Creek alike. I think we all strive for a certain identity. Where do we come from? What's our history? And we have gotten away from that in the last couple of generations. You know, 2 generations ago, pretty much everyone would have known this history, and many of them would have lived it. But then as time goes on, it starts fading, and I think now we have a lot of interest among citizens who want to know more, who strive to know more. And I think it's both their identity as a person and us as a community and a city.
All right, thanks again to all those in attendance. What a great story that was. And you can look at City Hall in Tulsa. You find that map very, very soon as Mayor Bartlett finds a good spot to put it. So, all right, moving right along. Neely, the Challenge Bowl coming up, one of the biggest events here at Muscogee Creek Nation every year.
That's right. They're expecting more than 600 students there. And this is the 16th year, and there are 2 things that are different this year.
Okay.
One, it's going to be held in our own College of the Muscogee Creek Nation.
Yes.
And not only that, they're using technology that they've never had before.
Okay, so like the tablets and everything like that? Okay, that's what this story is about.
That's right.
All right, I knew you were up to something over there. Definitely, they like to, as is with anything, the Challenge Bowl, it's every single year. So it's always good to get like 1 or 2 new wrinkles, you know, here and there.
And I found them.
You did, absolutely, yeah, definitely. So we love being able to showcase this great event, and it's nice to see them doing new and groundbreaking things.
More than 30 volunteers showed up for their first practice with the Dell tablets. Johnson O'Malley and Challenge Bowl coordinator Regina Keith says the idea of using the tablets is simple. The curriculum is stored electronically for easy access, and it's paperless.
Not having to haul in big tubs of binders or, you know, paper things. It's just all condensed on a tablet. Our study guides are on there, our rule books, handbooks, and everything's on the tablet at our disposal. So,
in the long run, using the tablets will save money and time. Odette Freeman, a volunteer, says it's been a fun learning experience adjusting to how the tablets will work in this year's competition.
I think it's going to work out fine. Still, you know, with being the first year, there's going to be kinks. But yeah, I think it's going to be great.
The volunteers are playing the role of the students today, getting to know the moderators, questions, and commands. Each team has 4 players apiece, and the idea is to answer correctly under strict time restraints. If there are any disputes, a judge is on hand to make the final call.
They seem to be really warming up to it. We had a really good turnout today. I think they're kind of excited about it too. You know, it's all new, but I think that they'll like it, you know, after they start learning how to maneuver around in it.
The Challenge Bowl started 15 years ago as a unique and fun way to preserve the Creek culture and language, something that the kids and volunteers wouldn't normally experience in any other setting.
We teach our students, not just our Muscogee Creek, but all students that reside within our boundaries and even outside our boundaries, just to spark that interest in that history that they don't normally get, you know, within the public school systems.
The Challenge Bowl is for any elementary student through the high school ages within the 11 county jurisdictions. The topics revolve around notable Creek citizens, historical events, language, and tribal government. And one element that's not found in the tablets is the admiration and respect taught for each other.
Respecting those that are in authority and those elders and also their peers. They also gain they have camaraderie with the other schools. You know, when they come together, they make new friends, meet people that, you know, that they wouldn't be able to meet otherwise.
This year they expect their biggest turnout yet. Freeman says she helps every year gaining a new perspective on Creek culture. And the best reward yet is passing it on to the next generation.
Well, you get the satisfaction of knowing that you're helping the younger generation to learn about Creek history and Creek language, Creek ways. It's great. So it's a fun competition and the kids really enjoy it.
I do want to pass along that the 16th Annual Challenge Bowl will happen on the first 3 Fridays of February. So, and of course, we will have coverage and we will be able to show you the students and how they all fared.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to be a great event, always is. And so we want to see a big crowd out there at the College of Muscogee Nation. As you mentioned, first time it's going to be at our place. So actually here on campus. So it's really great, and they do a fantastic job with that. Looking ahead, as I said, a lot of you went and enjoyed the State of the Nation address today from the Muscogee Creek Nation. Principal Chief mandated by our Constitution to give that address every year to the National Council and anybody that shows up. And I know it was probably very well attended, lots of people in the Mound Building. We will have a recap of that for you next week. And Neely, as you talked about earlier, just some things to highlight in that speech. She's going to be talking about some of our groundbreaking ideas, some of the things going on with our businesses. I know he's real proud of our roads program, so that's all going to be in there.
Yeah, that, health, education, housing, those are some of the things that he kind of highlighted in his speech and some of the initiatives that are to come for 2015 that we can expect from the Muscogee Creek Nation.
It's going to be great. We really want you to join us for that. We also love it when you can join us here on CW19 KSBI there in Oklahoma City on Sundays. But if you can't, always check our YouTube channel, see what we got going on. Always remember to Facebook and Twitter, see what we're doing during the week. For Neely Sudel and Jason Salzman, we'll see you guys next Saturday.
Bye-bye.